Well, I think to even deal with that question, and there are questions about this, consciousness and understanding, you know, it is important before we get into trying to answer it to first agree on the terms, right?
Engineers, we all think the same.
But we use terms like consciousness quite easily, right? And you know what I mean. I know what you mean, but no, do I really know what you
Not
mean?
really, not at all.
Right? What do we mean by
Yeah,
consciousness, right? And even if we agree on what we try to mean by consciousness, do we even know how human consciousness
not
works,
at all.
right? And so you could try to reduce to certain things. I'll try to be concrete. So, for example, let me not try to reach for consciousness, because every time I try to do something, somebody's going to say, "Well, that's not consciousness." Um, what about the sort of a self-awareness, right? And let me reduce it further to the idea of being aware of myself, my existence in this conversation, in this space, both spatially and also conceptually, right? Uh, that is what's going on in my mind. There's an awareness that an I exist, right? Um, I think that's very, very accessible to our algorithms
Totally.
that are emerging, right? In fact, anytime you embody intelligence, right, make robots and so on, they have to move around, they have to touch things, and so they have to have a symbol, they have to have a concept for whatever they are, right? If you're going to touch something, they're going to be aware of it. So that self-awareness is both programmed as well as emergent as it learns about the world, right? It'll learn about images of cats just as much as it learns about the arm that we give it, right? The existence that. So if you think of consciousness that way, or that subset of it as self-awareness, and self-awareness the way that I have described it, I think it's self-evident that it will be emergent, right? Now, can we make the next leap and say, well, apply that to everything,
Yeah.
right? And everything that we see as somehow uniquely human, right? I remember the conversation with a good friend. I won't name him, but this is just 5 short years ago, right? And he a very thoughtful person, very 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 smart. And he was saying, "But Christopher, creativity and initiative, how could that come from machines?" And again, like you mentioned just now, right? We're seeing things from Dolly and Dolly 2 that arguably are creative,
Yeah.
right? Now we could go back and deconstruct that and say, well, I know how that works, and so that's not creativity. But maybe it's important for us to go back and say, well, what is human creativity to begin
Yeah.
with? Except the ability to combine different probability distributions,
Yeah.
right? We tend to attribute, for example, one kind of creativity is when, if you have an eclectic background and you put your technology perspective together with your perspective about philosophy, then you come up with an intersection, right, that others haven't thought of before. And we say, well, that's so creative, right?